here we are with the everlasting covenant of Abraham and a promise about Sarah. Today we listen to Hannah tell us a story of God sealing God's love with the people with a simple commitment or a covenant. God tells Abram to look up at the sky and to see all of the stars. This is how numerous your family is going to be. God says to Abram, a man of significance, who in the chapter just before took Hagar almost as if she were property and impregnated her. And Abram, who looks up at the sky, trusts God's promise, even though knowing that the possibility of his wife Sarai getting pregnant is almost not a possibility at all. But here is Abram, later Abraham, to become the father of many nations. And God changes their names. God changes Abram to Abraham and Sarai to Sarah. And Sarai, which means princess, now becomes Sarah, which means noble woman. And she, at her very old age, is to bear many children, becoming the mother of all nations. The change of name is in destiny. The once childless couple will become ancestors of many, including royal dynasties. These new identities are without restriction, and they illustrate God's covenant through the dramatic transformation of human lives. Our tradition, let me find it. Our tradition has another red book. Now, we all know our Book of Common Prayer, which is the red book sitting in front of you, contains most of our worship materials. But many of you may not have seen this. This is called the Book of Occasional Services. And this book is a companion to our Book of Common Prayer. The rites and ceremonies in this book are to be understood, interpreted, and used in light of the theology and structure and direction of the Book of Common Prayer. There is a beautiful service in this book called a service of renaming. When an event or an experience leads a baptized person to be given a new name, this service is used to mark the transition by the community. This book provides instructions to the presider and the entire community on the proper use of pronouns throughout worship. I find the most powerful part of this service is when the presider turns to the congregation and says, "We honor the name given to them by their parents and acknowledge that the time has come to declare a new name. We honor the name they have chosen and acknowledge those loved ones who have holy space for a new name to be spoken. This new name is a culmination of a journey and discovery, at the same time, a new beginning." So I may have mentioned this a time or two, but one of my favorite days of the week is Thursday, where I gather with a collection of priests from around the diocese for Bible study classes. And the Reverend Marilyn Van Dufflin is serving St. Paul's Indian Mission up in Sioux City. Yes, Hal, I think you've been there. And she serves a Native American community that teaches her the values of their ancient traditions. and she wanted to share something with us this week. She said to us, "Did you know that it is common practice for Native Americans to change names? When a person goes on a vision quest, most all are encouraged to go on a vision quest, but some do not. It means that a transformation is going to occur, a transformative experience that is driven by the relationship with the Creator. Quests are never gone on alone, but in the company of witnesses and of others. When the vision quest is over, the person changes their name, reflecting their new relationship with the Creator. Change comes when we enter into an intentional relationship with God. In the gospel today, Jesus is guiding the disciples into the transformation of the passion and of the resurrection. Peter, upon hearing of beloved Jesus' suffering and death on the cross, rebukes Jesus. And how can we blame him? None of us would want to see our loved ones suffer. But firmly, Jesus tells Peter, "Get behind me, Satan." And that's a bit harsh, but Jesus is being firm here. When we talk about Satan, we talk about being tempted. And if we are tempted to take the familiar way or the easy path, are we going in the right direction that is prepared for us? So Jesus is saying to all temptations, "Get behind me." We may be tempted to be complacent in the face of something new, but Jesus' words are clear. For those who want to live their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake and for the sake of the gospel will save it. The gospel is God's new covenant with us. So this week, may God continue to love you and call you by your name as we honor and support the holy transformation happening in our own lives and within this community.